It's Denise. Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. Denise. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. Hello there, everybody. Happy Friday. It is April 22nd, and we are here to chat WWE Smackdown and AEW Rampage. Honestly, I feel like today is a pretty chill night. We don't have, Fridays it's a toss-up. You never know what's going to go down Fridays. Either we have a ton to talk about or we have a minimal amount of things to discuss. I feel like today we can, relax a little bit and kind of recap the shows at a very nice leisure. We did have a lot of things that went down on Rampage, some pretty good wrestling here tonight. It's kind of crazy how we only had an hour of Rampage, which we always do, obviously, duh. But the point is, we have a lot more to talk about in that 1 hour of Rampage, unfortunately, than we do right now, 2 hours of Smackdown. But that's just the unfortunate way that things are. But before we get started, everybody, I want to welcome everybody to the show. Thank you guys so much for coming on here today. I appreciate you guys so much. Also, before we get started, just know if this is your first time here, this is a very interactive show. At any point in time, you can send in super chats. If you do send in super chats, they get read here on the stream, 100% guaranteed. And also, that reminds me, Pal Driver Finisher. Pal Driver Finisher sent in a super chat on Wednesday's show that I didn't get a chance to read, and I'm pulling it up here right now. This was a super chat from last week from Pile Driver Finisher, who says that the 6-woman tag where Shida and Deeb start and finish the match without making a tag, Deeb versus Shida fight forever. So that was in regards to Wednesday's show. So Pile Driver Finisher, sorry I didn't get to read your super chat on last week's show. Pile Driver Finisher also sends in a super chat here today saying, pretty chill indeed. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. And again, I apologize for missing your super chat on Wednesday, guys. Sometimes that happens, especially because I tend to be a couple of seconds ahead of the chat. So sometimes I'll wrap up the show and then I'll see the chats coming in and I'm like, no, it's too late. Super chat from Reggie Simmons. It says best post game in a while. No, wait, did you mean best post show in a while? Get it, Hollywood. I'm all over the place today. Thank you, Reggie Simmons, for this very kind super chat. Alrighty, everybody. So let's get into the show because, like I said, there is a lot of good stuff to talk about in terms of what went down here today on AEW Rampage. We kicked things off with Adam Cole versus Tomohiro Ishii. And if you watched my Wednesday show, you know how much I was looking forward to this match. This was the match that today when I woke up and I was like, kind of like, a little out of it because I didn't sleep all night, had insomnia. And I was like, trying to, piece my life together. And I was just like on autopilot. I remembered, oh yeah, today we're going to get Tomohiro Ishii versus Adam Cole. And then all of a sudden I was like a little leprechaun walking around, hopping around and had a little extra pep in my step here today. So we opened up the night with Adam Cole versus Ishii. And I got to tell you, I was a fan of this. Now, I know this is only a 1 hour show, so granted, we usually Rampage matches I feel are a little bit trimmed down in terms of time. I didn't pay attention to how much time this match actually had, so if somebody has that, please send that in. I thought they did a phenomenal job for this opener. Man, it gave me a little bit of everything that I wanted, and it kind of further clarifies and we can add further speculation as to what we think is going to go down with the Elite, which we'll talk about in just a second. But I loved this match. All right. So first of all, just some of the moments and the things that I particularly loved about it was my favorite thing in this entire match was Adam Cole pissing off Ishii so much to the point where he's like getting in his face. He's like slapping him around. He's calling him stupid. And so Tomohiro Ishii gets super angry, and you see it in his face. And nobody gets angry the way that Ishii gets angry. When he's pissed, you know it. And at one point, Adam Cole's just going after him, and Ishii's just like, no, motherfucker, I'm about to fucking kill you right now. Pardon the language, ladies and gentlemen, but that is exactly the face that Tomohiro Ishii had during this. We saw a lot of really cool back and forth action. There was a moment where Adam Cole literally tries to go and get the boom on Ishii, but Ishii instead moves out of the way and gets Cole with a sliding lariat. I thought that was really awesome. There was also another moment when Cole super kicks Ishii, fires him up. Ishii starts headbutting him, and then he hits him with an enziguri. Those little combos that we saw there was really cool too. There was also another moment that I loved because Ishii was going in for the lariat, and before he could even try to nail it, we see Cole get him with the boot right to the arm. So I love that. It's little things like that that I tend to really enjoy when we're watching matches and whatnot. For the finish, though, we see Jay White coming out. Jay White comes out and he ends up taking out Rocky Romero, who was at ringside. And this allows a distraction. So the referee gets distracted. We see Adam Cole end up hitting a low blow on Ishii, and he hits the boom and he wins the match. So let's talk about this because this is essentially going to kind of tell us a little bit about the future and what we might possibly expect from all of this. So first of all, Adam Cole is going to go ahead and advance in the Owen Hart Cup. He now joins Samoa Joe. And then on top of this, not only does he advance in the Owen Hart Cup, but also they protected Ishii during this. Like, he lost via distraction, via low blow. They did protect Ishii, which I think they definitely need to, especially given that, he's not an AEW talent, and he's coming in here to do this match. On top of that, this further kind of pushes the theory that Jay White is essentially going to be, the catalyst of when we eventually have that dissension between the elite, because we know at some point it's going to be the Young Bucks and Kenny against Adam Cole and Red Dragon. And Jay White is essentially going to be the guy, is going to be the catalyst to that dissension from the elite. So I feel that's the direction that we're headed in, and it looks like it. It looks like that's the direction we're headed in. But go ahead and send in your thoughts, guys. How did you feel about Adam Cole versus Ishii? How did you feel about the incorporation of Jay White coming in this and essentially kind of helping out Adam Cole during this? Let us know what you think here. Let's get some thoughts in here. We got a super chat from Jakeinator722 who says, Denise, you're awesome. Thanks for all you do. Question, do you think AEW might be running Chicago a bit much? So, Jake, thank you so much for sending in the super chat and for the lovely compliment. I do personally kind of think that they are running Chicago a lot, but at the same time, they've been doing well in Chicago. So I don't feel like it's gotten to the point where, and I keep in mind, I'm not an expert when it comes to like numbers and this stuff like this. I think Brandon Thurston obviously is the person with the numbers and all of that. And Dave with the, where he includes the numbers in terms of locations and how tickets sell and all of that good stuff, right? But from what I've seen, it doesn't seem to have affected the Chicago market for them just yet. Like, they still seem to be getting, a lot of people. They still get, a lot of people that travel, especially for a lot of these events. So right now, it does kind of feel like they're doing too much in Chicago, and maybe that's just me being selfish because I want more out here in the West Coast. But they are still doing good in Chicago, is what I'm trying to get at. So even though they're there a lot, I don't really feel like they're losing, fans in Chicago, for example. So yeah, Jake Nader, I hope that answers your question, but I do kind of hope that they go to other cities, especially for like these big events. I know that we're finally getting our Los Angeles shows here. We're finally getting Dynamite at the Forum, and then we're getting an episode of Rampage in Ontario, and then obviously we have Double or Nothing in Las Vegas. That's all great and dandy, but I do kind of want to see future shows, in different large markets. But then at the same time, they already know how they're doing in Chicago, and they kind of know and feel out that market a little bit more versus Los Angeles, for example. And this is just an example, just throw in Los Angeles. This is really going to be their first time coming here. So they're, testing the market, seeing how that's all going to go down. And hopefully, fingers crossed, once, they see how well or how they do here, for example, in Los Angeles, then maybe we'll see more shows down the line, more bigger shows down the line in Los Angeles, because this is a huge market. But again, there are other markets as well where they can go ahead and run big shows like the Forbidden Door and like other pay-per-views as well. So thank you so much to Jake Nader 722 for sending in that super chat. Let's go ahead and get some more comments in here and see what people actually thought about the match. This is from Andrew. Andrew sends in a thought saying, I wish Ishii had gotten the win so we could see him face more people, but I wasn't surprised Cole won. I also wish they had gotten more time for the match. Some Rampage matches are a little rushed. Well, that was one of the things that I kind of talked about, like mentioned briefly at the top of this, is that I think we know that when it comes to the Rampage shows, it's just an hour, and they, promoted so much for the show that you're not going to get like a full on, 20-minute match or anything like that. You're going to get a shortened version of, whatever it is that's promoted on the show. And also, I wasn't expecting Ishii to win this whatsoever, especially with the Owen Hart Cup. I think it was safe to say that we were going to see Adam Cole go ahead and continue in that tournament. And on top of that, I don't feel like Adam Cole is the guy that should be losing right now. So I definitely was expecting him to win regardless of, how the match actually played out. So let's go ahead and see what else we got here. And Carlos mentions that Ishii is fighting tomorrow against Jonah. I am so freaking excited for that. I will be covering Rebellion. I will be doing that over on the Fightful side of things, but I cannot wait to see Jonah versus Ishii. It is going to be freaking killer. So thank you so much to Carlos for reminding me about that. I was literally just talking about it too. Let's see what else we got here. This is from Carter, who says, I think it was disrespectful for Cole to have won in a memorial tournament with a nut shot. I didn't see it that way. He's a heel. I didn't see it that way, but I see where you're coming from, but I just didn't think about it that way. And I don't know if a lot of people kind of felt that way. At the end of the day, Adam Cole's a heel. He's kind of been winning matches in these sorts of fashion. And like I said, it also protects Ishii as well there. And let's go ahead and see what else we got. This is a comment from the Kayoput in regards to the Chicago question that we got earlier. It says, Chicago's a wonderful city for wrestling. They will support any show. It would be a great idea to make that city a stronghold. I feel like they kind of already have made it a stronghold, at least for, AEW. I really feel that they have. And alrighty, let's go ahead and continue on here. Matt Logan actually updates me on some GCW stuff, saying, hey, Denise, John Wayne Murdoch beat Joey Janela for the Ultraviolet Championship tonight on GCW Ohio. Thank you so much for letting me know. I know the show's going on. I've been seeing on Twitter that it has been doing good. I obviously didn't get a chance to watch it because my job on Fridays is to cover SmackDown and Rampage, but thank you for letting me know here. All right, let's go ahead and continue on from this. Let's see. This is also from AJ Coleman. Let's put up this comment, who says, you have to remember wrestling is a business and they're going to want to protect the next big challenger for the title. Of course. Definitely right on that. All right, guys. So there you go. Overall, I would say 2 major thumbs up for Adam Cole and Ishii. More Ishii stuff. If I don't think, Tony Khan's a busy man. He's not watching this show, but I'm sending the vibes out, throwing them out there. May they arrive somewhere where Tony Khan is at. More Ishii matches. Vibing that out over there. So we'll see what happens. Again, we still don't know any of the matches for the Forbidden Door. We will find out soon. All right, so let's go ahead and move on from this. We get a backstage segment with the Jericho Appreciation Society. They're banned, obviously, from the Daniel Garcia Eddie Kingston match. They can't go in. There was a really funny line where Daniel Garcia tells Jericho, don't worry, I'm good. I'm a sports entertainer. I know what to do. Cool. And then Jericho telling security that he's gonna write a letter or call human resources. That was kind of funny. Good stuff there. All right, moving on. All righty. So we've been getting this very fun relationship thing. I don't know what you want to call it, between Hook and Danhausen. So Danhausen has been baffled. He has been mind blown. He does not understand why it is that he cannot essentially curse Hook. It does not seem to work on Hook whatsoever. And he's sort of been trying to get Hook's attention, but Hook kind of no-sells him. You know, Hook's in the world of his own, doing his own thing, not really caring about, you know, the things surrounding him, kind of just, you know, in his own head, in his own world. And so finally, after weeks of trying to get his attention, Danhausen finally smartens up and finds a way to get Hook's attention. He smashes his potato chips. Literally, he smashes his potato chips. He has a big giant bag, family size, party size of Lay's, plain Lay's. Blech. You cannot have those by themselves. Sorry, guys. Sorry, but plain Lay's, you need to have some tapatio with them or else I don't want them. Sorry. Anyways, but he's got the plain Lay's with him and he's smashing the chips, and finally Hook, you know, who was doing an interview with Lexi, finally says, he puts him up against the wall, he throws him up against the wall and says, "You finally got my attention now." And Danhausen's like, you know, doing that creepy face that he does, and we're progressing this. Now, I've said this on my post shows before, but again, I want this to end up being this weird friendship. I feel like that's the direction we're going. At least that's the direction I hope we're going in. But this is good stuff. I love this, like, odd couple stuff between Danhausen and Hook. Oh yeah, and Hook spoke, obviously. Best moment of the day says YT. Major Blood says Hook sounds exactly how I expected him to sound. He just sounds like a guy. He doesn't have like a special voice, but he just sounds like a guy. Doppelganger 399 says, "Do not mess with the chips." You don't mess with people's chips, man. You do not mess with people's chips. YT says, "Those poor chips Danhausen curses are bouncing off Hook and back onto Danhausen. The only effect they had on Hook was that it eventually led to him speaking." Yeah. I mean, some Pummy Wrestling says, "Don't you dare bury plain Lay's. That's literally the only flavor we got here. Anyways, can't wait for Hook versus Danhausen." What do you mean? Where do you live that you only got plain Lay's? Where is this magical world you're living in that you only have plain Lay's? I'm sorry, guys. I need something with some flavors, all right? Number one, flavored chips. My favorite chips. I'm just going to rank them off right now. Doritos, nacho cheese, hot Cheetos fries. And then I also really love Fritos, hot Fritos, though, not the regular Fritos. The plain Fritos, boring as hell, but the hot Fritos, bomb. And Cheeto Puffs, all right? Those are the top 5 potato chips that there are out there, and I will not take any other answer. So here we go. Let's go ahead and move on from this. Alrighty, so after this, we got a quick squash match between Lance Archer and Serpentico. Lance Archer hits him with a blackout, then hits him with a couple of choke slams after the match. Very quick, nothing else much to add there. Thank you. This is not a bad list whatsoever. My list is not bad. I go for all of the hot chips, guys. I love hot chips. How many of you here have had hot Cheetos with cheese, by the way? I'm curious. I know some people are going to be like, what? Hot Cheetos with cheese? It's a thing here in California. I don't know if it's in other places, but you get a bag of hot Cheetos and you get like nacho cheese, like the hot nacho cheese melted, and you put it in the bag. So you put the cheese in the bag and then you get a fork and you just start eating the hot Cheetos with the cheese in the fork. Like, it's amazing. It's really good. I try not to have it. I don't have it often because, you know, calories, but I have had it and it was good. So thank you for, there's a couple of people who know this. Okay, so a couple of people do know. Okay, cool. A couple of people know about the nacho cheese and the hot Cheetos. I love it. I've heard this too, the hot Cheetos and cream cheese. I have not had it. I'm not brave enough, but I will try someday. All right, moving on from this now. Don't keep me talking about potato chips. I hope that if I do ever get to interview Hook, I mean, chances are everybody's going to want to do this with him, but I'm going to do a chips ranking thing with Hook someday. Damn it, hope nobody takes my idea. Whoever gets hooked first is probably going to get that idea. But damn, just know that I said it first on here. All right, Daniel Garcia versus Eddie Kingston. Let's get into this because here's the thing that I want to start off by talking about in regards to this match. And I think, a lot of times we talk about matches and, we talk about, the things that occurred in the match, right? We talk about the moves, we talk about what moments we liked, etc. But for this particular matchup, I want to start off talking about the bigger picture here, the bigger picture. So one of the things that AEW, I think, does very well is get people interested in people that either A, you didn't know of before, you're just getting familiar with, or B, maybe guys that you were maybe on the fence about, you weren't really, all that goo-goo gaga about them. And then all of a sudden you become a fan because of the way that AEW has essentially built up these personas, built up these wrestlers, etc. Right? I think that they've done a really good job of creating their own stars and making the fans care about the people that they are seeing on the television screen. And that is very, very important, okay? It is so important to make people care about the people that are on your screen, okay? That gets storylines over, it gets people over, it gets so much over, okay? So important. So with that being said, I feel that this match did exactly that for Daniel Garcia. In no way was Daniel Garcia going to defeat Eddie Kingston. Obviously we see Eddie Kingston in a different light. He's still in a different level than Daniel Garcia, etc. However, this match was essentially a competitive match that put an up-and-comer like Daniel Garcia further up on this, ladder of stardom, whatever you want to call it, this ladder, this invisible ladder of people climbing up in terms of ranks. This is the kind of match that you need your young talent to have, because someday in the near future, these are the guys that you're going to be turning to for these marquee matches. So you want to make sure that when they get to that point, the people believe it, that the people say, you know what, that Daniel Garcia guy, he deserves to be in this, main of I'm interested in this main event because Daniel Garcia is in it. And the only way you're going to get there is by having them set their foundation, and you set their foundation by putting them in good competitive matches. And that's exactly what they did with Daniel Garcia. They put him in this match with Eddie Kingston. It was competitive, and it made at least me, I've been a fan of what Daniel Garcia has been doing. And this is the thing that I particularly have been liking about Daniel Garcia matches, is that the matches that I've seen from him, every single match, I feel like he does something new. We see something a little bit different, a little bit new from him. And so that's a good thing, obviously. But what I'm trying to say here is that I feel this match made me see Daniel Garcia in a different light. And that is exactly what you need to do. Because again, if he's going to be a big star, or a guy that you're hoping is a big star down the line, you want to start building up his reputation. You want to start building up these strings of matches that are good, and you believe him whenever he is told and put in those big spot positions. So that is exactly what they did with Daniel Garcia here today. And I was a big, big fan of that. In terms of stuff that actually occurred during this match that I particularly liked, there was a moment where so we saw, Garcia hits Kingston with a forearm. Kingston returns a chop. Immediately after, you see Garcia start biting Kingston. Kingston returns the favor and starts biting him in the ear, by the way. Then after this, one of my favorite parts of this match, it was a little thing, was Garcia. So we had Kingston we had him in the corner, and he was underneath the turnbuckle, and Daniel Garcia ends up holding himself onto the ropes, right? And he just starts stomping very rapidly on Kingston's body. I really, really like that. For some reason, that just kind of hit home with me. I really enjoyed that. Kingston ends up hitting the exploder. He ends up hitting the spinning back fist. He gets the win. But overall, they gave Daniel Garcia enough for me to see him in that different light. So I thought this was a win. A good matchup for Eddie Kingston, putting over the young talent. Good stuff there, guys. Afterwards, Kingston just basically sends a message to Chris Jericho through Daniel Garcia. So this was good stuff here. Thumbs up. Let's go ahead and see what people are saying in regards to this actual match. What did you guys think about this? Let's see. And this is from, let me go through a couple of comments here, see what people think about this. All right, this is from the Cooge97, who says, thought Eddie was going to give Garcia some fajazos with that belt. I thought so too. I thought he was just going to like start like whipping him, but he did not do that. But I did think he was going to do that for sure. And this is from Andrew, who says, I think Daniel Garcia looked better than Kingston in this match. He's so damn talented and creative, but Eddie needed this win for his record and to keep the story going. Great stuff. Yeah, like here's like I said, guys, like Daniel Garcia, you know, down the line, he could be a big star. We're not going to find out unless you put him in these competitive matches. And down the line, you just keep building up to it. Obviously, it's not, he's still young. It's not his time yet. But that doesn't mean that you can't make him look good in a match. You don't got to bury the guy because it's not his time yet. That sort of thing. That's the best way that I can put it. We got the Kayoput, who says, this match didn't get Garcia over with me as much as it did others, but I think there's tons of potential here. His ring awareness is superb. YT says, I feel like they're building towards Jericho Appreciation Society versus Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz, and 2 other people in a Stadium Stampede match for Double or Nothing. It feels that way too, and I would personally like to see that, especially with the way that they've been building this whole on-site thing and all of that. I think they could definitely tell that story for sure. Alrighty, guys, so let's go ahead and move on from here. We got a couple more items to talk about in regards to Rampage, and then I got a really quick rundown of SmackDown. I could probably run down SmackDown in 5 minutes, guys, so I'm trying to elongate this. But either way, before we continue on, just a friendly reminder to all of you, if you are new to the show, please just know that I come on 3 times a week here on F4W Online. I'm very lucky to be able to have this platform and to be able to have this time to just come out here and chat wrestling with you all. I'm live on Tuesdays immediately after NXT 2.0. If you're that person who still cares about NXT, come join me, guys. Come join me because damn, yeah, if you still care and want to know about what's going on in that world, I'm here for you. I got your back. On Wednesdays, I am here to talk about AEW Dynamite. It's personally my favorite show of the week because those shows are always crazy. You never know what to expect. And I always feel very stressed out on Wednesdays because I have a ton to talk about, which is great, actually, because it gives us a whole lot of conversation. Fridays, I'm here, most chill show of the week, to talk SmackDown and Rampage. So easy stuff. Alrighty, guys, let's go ahead and move on from this. We got a quick backstage segment. Swerve and Keith Lee, they basically tell Team Taz that the war is not over yet. And I think we kind of already knew that. So let's move on to the main event. Jade Cargill versus Marina Shafir for the TBS Championship. I'm very happy that this was the main event. I thought this was a good spotlight for the TBS championship, excuse me. I thought it was a good thing for Jade Cargill, given that this is her 30th matchup and it being obviously a victory for her. I'm glad that they gave Jade Cargill the victory here, guys. And I feel that Marina Shafir was a good opponent in this because we saw a different side. I feel we saw a different side of Jade Cargill today. And by different side, I feel like this was really one of the first opponents, maybe aside from Ty Conti or Thunder Rosa and, a couple names that really had, Jade Cargill's number, so to speak, or at least that's the way that, the match was essentially put together to basically tell you like, hey, this person has this person's number. There's a good chance that, Jade Cargill probably won't win, right? So they gave you enough of that. The match I thought was good. It was fine. I didn't think it was, the greatest thing ever, but it was still a perfectly fine match. I thought that there were things that I liked that they did. I just think that the problem is, I think that I'm trying to find my right wording here because I don't want this to come off as bad, but I just really do think that I I feel like the crowd still isn't really invested. Like, I don't feel the crowd was necessarily that invested in this match. In terms of like, we all knew, like, I just don't feel like they were that invested. Okay. Like, yeah, we know Marina Shafir is a good opponent for Jade Cargill. We know that this is her 30th defense, but I just didn't feel like the crowd really cared enough. And maybe that's also how I felt too. I didn't really feel like I cared enough. And by that, I mean is like, there hasn't been a connection made yet between Marina Shafir and the audience. And I feel like a lot of what we've seen so far has come across as a little bit dry, where there really isn't much there. I think I think we still need to see a lot more from Marina Shafir in terms of the wrestling aspect side of things. Like, I don't want to. I think from what we saw last time on Dynamite, I legitimately was not blown away whatsoever. And that kind of left me a little bit like, considering that this is the big 30th person against Jade Cargill, I was kind of hoping for just a little bit more oomph there. And I don't feel like we got that. So I think in terms of that, that's the part that failed for me. But in terms of just kind of, there were things that I did like in the match. Some of the stuff that I did like in the match, I'm going to point some of this stuff out. I know it's in here somewhere. All right, I liked when Marina essentially got her in all of those knee bars. There was a moment too where she had her in a knee bar and Jade Cargill is using the opposite leg to kick her way out of it. I thought that was pretty good. There was a very brutal table spot in which we saw Jade Cargill put Marina Shafir through a table, but the table did not break. She kind of slid off. She landed really nasty. It just looked brutal. It didn't look so great. So she took a massive bump there. There was a lot of the outside stuff too with Jade Cargill and the baddies, and they're, giving her the double kiss on the cheek. We see Marina Shafir taking out Mark Sterling, which was one of my favorite parts. Also, the way that she took out Mark Sterling, I thought was pretty damn good. I was like, oh shit, kill the guy, kill him. I really liked that there too. For the ending, we obviously see Jade hit the Jaded and she gets the win. So again, I thought it was a really good win for Jade Cargill. I thought regardless of some of the things that didn't work for me, I still thought that it was a different match for Jade Cargill. It was a different match. I was just 50-50 on it for the reasons that I kind of mentioned here, guys. But let's go ahead and see what you guys are saying. Maybe some of you guys can help me explain this match just a little bit better here. Let's see what we got here. And this is from Nick A, who says, I keep waiting for Marina's music to pop up and get hype, and it never happens. Like I said, it doesn't really feel like there's a connection. It doesn't really feel like there's a connection just there yet. And let's go ahead and get some more comments. This is from Asia, who says that she's another one who you should protect at all costs. I'm assuming you're referring to Jade Cargill here. And let's go through a couple more here. And Roberto points out this was a way better match for Marina Shafir this week. Yeah, of course. This was, a main event match, so you wanted to give it a little bit more for sure. Major Blood says it wasn't a great match, but it wasn't a bad match either. It was just okay personally. That's, I think, what I was trying to get at. It wasn't a great match. It wasn't a bad match. It was fine. It was there. I don't know how else to describe it. Some matches, there's just not much to say. Young Blood Ginger says Marina Shafir just feels out of place without Duke or Shayna. Almost like a knockoff Ronda. Jade is getting over with me now, but unfortunately people chanted boring during their match. I didn't hear that. Did they really chant boring during their match? I didn't catch that. But I can't necessarily blame them too much, guys. There's no connection there. And this is from White, who says it's heel versus heel, so they had nobody to cheer for. Also, that table bump looked rough. It looked like the table was meant to break, but Jade dropped Shafir too far to the right, very far to the right for sure. And this is the Cooch97, who says, just constructive criticism. It's okay. Nothing is perfect. Always room for improvement. And we have seen that improvement for Jade. She does deserve that credit because she has been improving. We have seen that. We have seen that improvement. And let's go ahead and put up some more comments. Zeno Hour says, solid match. However, the build-up hurt this. Dale Arazi says, I feel like the build-up, here's the thing, the build-up kind of made it seem like Jade Cargill was getting ahead of herself, like she was jinxing herself and she was going to lose. And so that's why I thought like, oh man, like Marina Shafir is going to come in here and she's going to sweep everybody off their feet. And damn, they made it seem like that's the way that it kind of seemed when they were promoting her party and this and that. It made me feel like, okay, whoever's going to, because at this point we didn't know Marina Shafir was going to be her 30th opponent. I started thinking like, okay, whoever's going to be her 30th opponent is going to beat her, because that's the way they kind of made it seem. So going into this, I'm thinking, well, if Marina Shafir is the person to beat her, then let's see what she brings. And then when I realized, I hope that she's not the person who beats her. I do kind of think that hurt this story just a little bit there. Dale Arazi says, yeah, I'm surprised they gave the problem so much on this match. I think the problem is that they need to build up a couple of good women babyface to challenge Jade, and they have some. They just need to pull them out. And, they can use a lot of the girls too that they have over, that they use on Dark and Dark Elevation, especially since a lot of, the people that watch those shows are already familiar with those girls. And we've seen a lot of them have already lost to Jade, but they lost in a fashion where it was like, squash matches and not really a showcase match where the other person actually gets to showcase themselves in the actual match. So I do think that there are probably some other women that they could probably use to be, big baby faces against Jade, but give them, make them look like they have a real opportunity to actually defeat Jade Cargill. Just, kind of like what they did with, Daniel Garcia and Eddie Kingston. There you go. Obviously, Jade is not at the level of Eddie Kingston, but it doesn't matter. Like, they could still tell a story like that, to get some newer girls, out there, Get more people going there. We got Augustin Ario who says, I like the main event. Jade is growing. And let's go ahead and see what else we got here, guys. This is from the Polished Jen who says, hot take. I really like Shafir's symphony music. I like how she just comes out in a black hoodie with a flag on it. And I like her cold blank stare. I like that hot take, man. I'm here for all sorts of opinions here. And this is for Sheldon Jackson who says, feels like that's the downside of constantly being on Dark and Dark Elevation and never on TV for Marina. That's a comment from Sheldon. And we actually have a super chat from David Kaplan who says, who's your dream interview? You're awesome. Thank you, David. Dream interview. I have a lot, but I think there's a lot of people that I would just want to interview again and for like a longer period of time. I would love to interview, Triple H for a longer period of time, Stephanie McMahon for a longer period of time. I've never interviewed Tony Khan. I think that could be fun. I mean, aside from like media scrums, I don't really count those as interviews, to be honest. CM Punk is another one that I would like to have an in-depth conversation with. Bryan Danielson. I mean, there's so many people that I would love to just sit and chat with. Kenny Omega. But you know what? I got to keep working, guys, and hopefully I get approved for some big interviews, guys. I'm trying. I really am trying. So we'll see. All right. And lastly, I'll read this comment. This one's from Youngblood Ginger, who says her presentation is great, just isn't connecting due to her lack of interest. She's only been really featured on YouTube. Someone says interview Hook. I tried already. I reached out a long time ago to AEW Media to get Hook. It ain't happening anytime soon. At least not for me, guys. Like, that's the thing. That's the one. That's sometimes a struggle that I come across because, these interviews are for my channel. So I'm not, backed by like a major media corporation, and they tend to that's when you have a big media corporation backing you, it's easier to get a bigger interviews. So I'm trying to get bigger interviews, even though it's, necessarily for my YouTube channel, but here's the thing though, is that I get good views on those interviews when they do happen. So you just got to keep working. I got to keep working. I got to keep hustling, and we'll see if we get those interviews. So we'll see what happens. Alrighty, so here we go. All right, that's it for Rampage. I was gonna keep going, and I was like, wait, that's it. There's nothing else to talk about in regards to Rampage. All right, so guys, let's get into a Friday night Smackdown. Let's get some comments in here. This is going to be a very easy review. Let me tell you that much. All right, guys, so let's do this. Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey contract signing. You know what? Drew Gulak was really funny during this. He was doing backstage interviews. Now he's going, I think they referred to him as the intern. Now, I didn't watch SmackDown. God, what was it? I forgot what week it was that I didn't get to watch SmackDown because I was somewhere. Might have been last week. Was it last week I was in here? I was in here one of these weeks. whatever. So I missed actually seeing him as the backstage interviewer. I only saw it on social media and then today in the replay. So I kind of think that he's funny. He's working in this position. They never use the guy. Might as well use him in this comedy spot. Ain't gonna hurt anybody. Might as well do it. So I thought this was fine. I like this. But other than that, it's your typical contract signing. Charlotte and Ronda arguing. Charlotte arguing that she never tapped out, that she says she was just fixing her bra. Ronda Rousey telling her that she's going to beat her at WrestleMania Backlash. She's going to make her say, I quit. They signed the contract. Charlotte tosses the table onto Ronda Rousey. Afterwards, we end up seeing kendo stick shots thrown. There was actually a really brutal shot from Charlotte to Ronda. The first one she gave her a kendo stick shot right here to the back of the head. Her Coco. She totally got her Coco. Like, man, she freaking hit her like she was a baseball. Man, that was brutal. But anyways, after that, she continues on attacking her with the kendo stick. Afterwards, Ronda takes a hold of it. Then we end up seeing Ronda go after Drew Gulak. She ends up blocking him in an armbar, and she signs the contract on top of him. So really easy stuff. Straightforward, guys. Super straightforward. Major Blood says, this opening segment, it really just felt like two high school girls bickering. Doesn't help that neither of them are particularly likable. I love Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is actually, and I get so much heat for this, guy, so please don't. I get, like, every time I mention that I love Charlotte Flair, there's always people that are like, why do you like Charlotte Flair? I'm sorry, she's one of my favorite freaking wrestlers, female wrestlers out there. Sue me, I love Charlotte Flair, but I do understand, the heat that she gets and whatnot. Been there, done that, but I do love Charlotte Flair. But with that being said, I haven't been loving this feud between Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. If you guys have been here for my past post shows, you already know this. It's not hot. It's not hot. There's nothing happening. And on top of that, I didn't even care for the WrestleMania match. I didn't think it was a good WrestleMania match, but whatever. That's in the past now. I am moving on. Sri Kranth says, do you think that Ronda should win this match? Well, I don't know. I think it depends on, where they're going with this. I think that Ronda as champion might, liven things up a little bit. So maybe I haven't fully decided yet. I'm probably, as we get closer to WrestleMania Backlash, I'll make a decision. But right now, you know what? I feel safe saying that I kind of want Ronda to win this match. Yeah. For right now, that's my pick for right now. Ronda Rousey. That's my pick right there. But let's go ahead and move on from here. After this, we got Butch versus Xavier Woods. This is the exact same thing that I saw like 2 weeks ago on SmackDown, man. A quick match. Xavier Woods wins with the backwoods again. And this is the same way that he defeated him last time. I have no interest in this whatsoever. So I have nothing else to say about that. Gunther beat up a teddy. He killed a teddy. Not a teddy bear, Teddy Goods. Gunther puts Teddy on a post, stomps him with his foot on his chest, practically kills the guy. Great visual, by the way. Great visual. Power bombs him. Gunther wins the match. It's a quick squash. I love it. I don't care. Have Gunther kill people every week. I'm totally okay with that. This is actually one of my favorite parts of SmackDown is seeing Gunther just beat up any human body. I'm okay with that. Sorry for the descriptive violence, but I like it. I like seeing Gunther kill people. It's good stuff. We got Riddle versus Jey Uso. This was actually the best portion of SmackDown. The best thing that happened on all of SmackDown was this match because it was a good freaking match between Riddle and Jey Uso. No surprise there. I loved it. I love seeing Riddle throw multiple strikes to Jey Uso. Love that. Riddle went and hit the floating bro. He goes for a pin. It's a near fall. Afterwards, we see Jey Uso hit a nice pop-up net breaker. Looked really good too. We see a super kick from Jey Uso to Matt Riddle. Uso goes for the splash off the top rope, but Riddle gets his knees up and ends up getting the win there. Entertaining match, good moments, good pacing. I was actually interested in this. So this was good. Definitely the highlight of SmackDown for me, honestly. We got people agreeing here that also agreeing that Gunther should be killing people every week. King of Wakamundo says WWE destroyed another young talent. Poor Butch. Poor Butch indeed. He was the guy that I legitimately thought was going to be NXT champion. I legitimately thought it was going to happen for him. I'm like, it cannot not happen for him. Well, it turns out that it didn't happen. So there we go. We're moving on from that. Pal Jerry Finner says Butch is near exact in the ring, and his presentation just throws me out of it. He's supposed to be a little bit of a lunatic, which I don't mind, but they shouldn't make him a dorky lunatic. They should make him like a badass lunatic. But there we go. What else can you say about that? Naomi and Sasha, this is a very quick segment. They come out and they're talking about how they have no competition. Natalya and Shayna come out, and Natty starts talking about how she's a record holder. And this was my favorite line from Naomi. Naomi tells her, of what? Bad dances and being obsessed with your cats? That was good stuff. Naomi, shout out. That was a great line. I love that. Shayna pushes Naomi. Naomi and Sasha basically say, fine, let's do this match. And from the sounds of it, we may be getting it at WrestleMania Backlash. Nothing else to add there. Man. YT says, I feel like Wood's new finish just looks like the person falls over and can't get up like a turtle on its back. It doesn't feel like a believable surprise roll-up finisher. I like how you described it with the turtle. But there isn't much, guys. There's not much to add to this. This is what bums me out. Sami Zayn tries to align himself with Roman Reigns ahead of his lumberjack match. Says he's going to acknowledge him. Roman doesn't say anything. Seems to be like he's going to be thinking about it. I love Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is legitimately one of my favorite people on this entire planet. I love Sami Zayn so freaking much. Alrighty. And then this next thing. I tweeted about this, and the responses that I got from this were a little bit surprising. Now, keep in mind, I was not here last week. So, Lacey Evans, she came back on SmackDown and she did a chapter 1 where she was basically talking about her, her life and how she grew up and all of that. And I thought it was really good. The first week that we got it, I was like, yes, this is exactly what you need to do with her. We need strong female characters. We need those characters. I've been so behind the idea of doing something like this. So I was totally behind the Lacey Evans thing. Week 1. Week 2, I wasn't here. So week 3, she comes out and she does this promo. And she goes in depth. She's very emotional. She's talking about the poor, the poor housing that she grew up in. She talks about her dad doing drugs, her mom being out of her life in her pivotal years during her teenage years. She talks about, being left sobbing on a pile of dirty clothes. She says that she did her own makeup because if you want something right, you got to do it yourself. She taught herself what beauty and confidence was. She talks about, when she finally got started in wrestling and how she had, when you have nothing, she talks about when you have nothing to lose, you end up kind of being unstoppable because you realize you have nothing to lose. So you kind of just go for things. She talks about her dad passing out on the couch with cigarettes and learning how unbreakable of a person she is. So this was pretty long here. This is the 3rd week that she's done this now. And I loved it. I bloody loved it. I was so engaged in what she was saying. She was, emotional. The story that she was telling. I connected with Lacey Evans in this. I felt inspired by Lacey Evans. I liked what Lacey Evans did, and I like what they're doing. So I tweeted it out that I felt inspired by Lacey Evans, and a majority of the comments that I saw, I don't know what it looks like now because I haven't checked, but the majority of the comments I saw when I first tweeted it out was a lot of people basically kind of crapping on this, saying that they're tired of it, move on to something else, and this and that. And I get it, maybe because I wasn't here last week, so this was really only the 2nd time that I've seen and heard this, but because I think she did such a great job at sharing and showing that emotion that I love this. I really did. I think that when, she finally comes out and, she actually has a match, I think people are going to, be like, yeah, hell yeah, let me root for this girl, I'm going to root for her because we now know her backstory. We know who she is and the hell that she's been through. Hell yeah, I'm going to freaking go ahead and clap for her. And it's such polar opposite from what they were doing with her before. I mean, the last time we saw her, guys, the storyline is that she essentially had, that she got knocked up by Ric Flair and had his baby. think about that. She went from the storyline being that she's being knocked up by Ric Flair and having his baby and being the evil future stepmama to Charlotte Flair to now a full 180. And now she's this, she's talking about her Marine life and everything that she's battled through. It's two totally opposite characters. And I'm so much like what they're doing with her right now. And even before the Southern Belle stuff, sometimes I liked it, sometimes I didn't. So this kind of feels to me like they can actually go somewhere with this character for Lacey Evans. So I like this. This was actually one of my favorite parts of SmackDown. And I was a little bit like, thrown aback by the amount of, or not the amount, but by some of the comments that people were making in regards to this, because I was a fan of this, guys. I legitimately was a fan of this. And, this is from Pomi Wrestling, who says, my guess as to why people have turned on Lacey's segments is because it feels more overproduced and kind of artificial with the overdramatic music and the patriotic background. I feel like the patriotic background, like, dude, she was in the Marines, so I'm like, all right, like, it works for her character. And then on top of that, like, everything in WWE is overproduced. Absolutely everything. Everything is overproduced in WWE. So like it's, it is what it is there. So it didn't feel artificial to me. I felt that it felt the most genuine that it can feel in an overproduced environment. There you go. That's the best way to say it. So I was a fan of this, guys. And Lixana says, actually, Rick said / confirmed the baby was not his. Did he say it on Raw? I don't remember. Dang. And I was covering the show every week. Hey, man, the last thing I remember is that was his baby. Oh, God. Let's go ahead and see what else we got. This is a person asking, Street Crumbs, who says, what's the end goal with Evans? I get the story, but what's the direction? I think the direction should be, this is who this girl is. She came from a hard family. She came from a hard life. Excuse me. She had a hard time growing up. She went and she made something of herself. She became a Marine. Now she's a pro wrestler. She's in the WWE. She's this huge superstar now. I think the thing that they should do with her is like an empowerment type of character, but not in a way where it's like annoying, in a way where it's like, this is a tough, badass girl, kind of like a Wonder Woman. They can make her into that and make her somebody that is, someone that maybe, younger people want to look up to. They need to build baby faces on SmackDown and Raw, but just focusing right now on SmackDown, I would really like them to make the Lacey Evans character into like the strong, confident female, but not in a way where it comes across as like, because that's the thing though. Like we already know that they kind of have a hard time booking baby faces. We already know that. Man, I hope they don't ruin it and make her unlikable. I hope that they keep it I hope they keep it in a way where it's still like you're liking what she's doing, I don't know how else to put that in there. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what else we got here and see what people are saying. And all righty. Okay, cool. This is from, I think we're pretty much on from here. This is from Dale, who says she just needs to wrestle. We need to forget about Ric Flair. Yeah, let's just forget about that, guys. We need to forget about all of that already. But there you go. I did like what they did with Lacey Evans there. We got 2 matches announced for next week, and we got Ricochet. Oh, let me just say one more thing about the Lacey Evans thing. One more thing. If they keep this going for like 6 weeks or something, then I'm gonna be like, all right, bro, we got to cut it out. Let's do something else here, because we've seen this happen with other talents where they come out and they do something and then they do the same thing every single week. I remember when they had that with Aleister Black with the come knock on my door, don't knock on my door, whatever the hell he was doing with the door thing. Remember that? We saw that a whole bunch. There's been a lot of situations where we kind of get the same thing over and over. So hopefully next week, I'm going to give it 1 more week of promos. I'll say 1 more week. And then after that, they got to do something different. All right. I'm going to give it 1 more week though. 1 more. I'm going to be nice about it. Be nice. All right. Next week, we got Ricochet versus Shanky for the Intercontinental title. All right. Charlotte and Ronda Rousey will both be in Beat the Clock challenges. Usually these are very goofy and they're not that great. So I don't expect this to be good. So far, I mean, unless you're a big fan of Shanky and Ricochet, wrestling one another, then cool. But there isn't much to be excited about. Lumberjack match, main event, Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. This ends up again with Sami Zayn running away. And so next week, we're going to be getting a steel cage match. So it started off as a singles match, then it went into a lumberjack match, and now it's going to be a steel cage match so that Sami Zayn won't run away. So make what you will of that. Alrighty, everyone. That was Friday Night Smackdown. Again, like I said, we did get a nice match between Jade. I would say the highlights of SmackDown for me were definitely the Jey Uso Matt Riddle match. I did like the Lacey Evans stuff. And then I would put Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey up there as well. But everything else was just filler. There was nothing else much of note to say. But that's pretty much it, guys. That was AEW Rampage. That was WWE Smackdown. Thank you guys, as always, so much for coming into these shows and supporting. Before I head out, please make sure, if you haven't already, if you are here and you haven't followed me on Twitter just yet, please do so. I'm really trying to get to 100K by the end of the year. And so far, I'm on track. I need to hit 65K by the end of this month. So if you haven't followed me, please make sure you do. Go there. Please go there. And then youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. Go there. There's tons of stuff. I've been uploading so much content, and there's going to be so much more content to come. Again, that channel is run entirely by me, so hopefully you guys will go ahead and check it out. On top of that, you can also check out some of the recent videos that I've been putting up here on F4W Online. 4 times a week, I upload videos called The Latest, where I kind of go over some of the top headlines that we are seeing on F4WOnline.com in regards to pretty much all of wrestling. And I put it in a really nice video that's really easy to watch and just really fun. So I hope you guys check those out as well. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you guys on Twitter later on. All right, bye, guys.